Today I'm going to show you my version of a Long Island iced coffee. So that might be a bit unexpected, but I've had a Long Island iced coffee on my ideas list since day one, since starting this YouTube channel. And finally, I've got around to making my interpretation of this drink. So I've seen a few people making their own versions of this drink. This one's going to be quite different, I think, but I'm really excited to share it with you. And it's actually turned out even better than I expected. So today, let's make the Long Island iced coffee. So the Long Island iced tea that this drink's obviously inspired by is a very interesting drink, a very well-known drink, and I actually made it in my 50 video completely free essential cocktails course, which I'll link at the end of the video and in the description. But we're going to riff on this to make our Long Island iced coffee. So whereas the Long Island iced tea doesn't contain tea, it's inspired by that kind of iced tea flavor profile with a lot of booze. This actually does contain coffee. I think it's given it a really interesting texture, really interesting depth of flavor, but it's still in keeping with that Long Island iced tea framework. So as you can see, we've got a lot of ingredients here. However, they're all really easy to get hold of. There's nothing particularly special here, but they come together just so nicely and create a really harmonious drink. So we're gonna build this in a shaker. It's actually gonna be a shake and drink, and it gives it a really nice foamy texture, but I'm gonna talk through each ingredient as I add it. So when it comes to the booze, 10 mils each of vanilla infused vodka, which I just infused split vanilla pod into vodka. I had 1.5 grams of vanilla into 300 grams of vodka. Leave that until the flavor's really infused and you get this amazing vanilla vodka. So the reason for infusing the vodka with vanilla is because there used to be a product called Vanilla Coke, which is quite an evocative product for me. I remember drinking it as a kid. And vanilla, Coca-Cola, they just work so nicely together. And that's gonna be a bit of a theme with our spirits here. Gin and Coke is not a combination you hear of. However, that really nice kind of botanical flavor you get from gin just really adds even more complexity to the final drink. It works really nicely with some of the ingredients we're gonna add later. And in amongst this drink, there's almost a little bit of a Negroni flavor coming through, which I'll talk about later, but obviously gin is gonna be really important for that. So 10 mils of vanilla vodka, 10 mils of our gin, 10 mils again of a good quality white rum. And rum and Coke is a very popular combination. This has got a little bit of tropical fruit in there, the Plantaray. And then next up, 10 mils of a silver tequila. So rather than using a reposado, I just find this lets the kind of other flavors shine through a little bit, gives it the nice grassiness. And you'll also find Coca-Cola and tequila working really nicely in other drinks like a Batanga, so it's a really good combination. So we've got our core spirits. In the Long Island iced tea, you'd also have Cointreau, but we're gonna ditch that. Orange is kind of present in here anyway as a flavor, but I'm gonna add two ingredients, 10 mils again, which add a little bit of a different flavor characteristic to the drink. So 10 mils of Luxardo Maraschino, and this is a cherry liqueur. So if you've had cherry Coke, you'll know why this is here. It's a very complementary flavor. And then a little bit random, but I think really, really important to the drink, is 10 mils of AVERNA Amaro. And this almost tastes like Coca-Cola in itself. It's also got coffee notes in there, and it's got a kind of bittersweet characteristic. So this is really important. It brings all the other flavors together, but you can experiment with different Amari. AVERNA I really like, but you can use your favorite, but this is fantastic because it's kind of bittersweet and delicious. So now we've got 10 mils each of all of our boozy ingredients. We can start building the rest of the drink. And this is again really straightforward. 25 mils of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which is going to be our primary acidity in the drink. And then to balance this, I've got this, which is a very interesting sweetener, but also some acidity in the form of a Coke reduction. So this is really easy to make. Just reduce Coca-Cola in a pan, and you want to get it to around about 25% of its original weight. And obviously this is pretty sweet, but as I said, there's still some of that acidity you find in Coke. I'm gonna go 25 mils. But because this is such a strong flavor, it's gonna really carry through, and you kind of need that Coca-Cola in a Long Island iced tea. This is gonna be coffee, but it just kind of rings true to the original slightly. And then to finish, 50 mils of a cold brew concentrate. And this is our primary coffee element. So again, really simple to make. It's a 1:8 ratio of ground coffee to cold water. Steep that for 12 hours. And I actually used a naturally processed Ethiopian coffee, which actually had a flavor note of cola in there. And it just kind of ties everything together. It's got those deep fruit notes you find in the Amari, the Luxardo, got that kind of cherry flavor, but also subtle florality, which I think really works nicely in the drink. If you can't get this exact coffee, experiment with others, but I think Ethiopian naturals really work nicely in the drink. But don't be limited. You can try decaf if you don't want to drink too much caffeine at night. And whatever you choose will impact the flavor of the drink, but it's going to be delicious. Going to give it a nice shake over ice. And then something I really didn't expect when I designed this drink was this incredible texture. So have a look at this. Ooh, yeah. I think the cold brew concentrate's giving it that really nice foaminess. Because it is such a strong brew, you do get that. It almost looks like we've got pineapple juice in there because it's got that really nice foamy texture, but obviously we don't. And then to garnish the drink, gonna go in with a lemon wedge, so you can adjust the acidity if you want to, and a cherry on top to tie in with those cherry Coke flavors. So there we have my version of the Long Island iced coffee. So as you can see, it's got an amazing texture. Looks really great, I think. Let's give it a taste. There's so much going on in here. It 100% reminds me of a Long Island iced tea. The coffee flavor is really clear though. Get a little bit of cherry and vanilla coming through from our vanilla vodka, from our maraschino. But it's also got like a little bittersweet, almost aperitif style flavor in there, a little bit like a Negroni, from the gin, the Amaro, lemon and cola giving you acidity and sweetness, plenty of Coca-Cola flavor. And to me, that's a pretty delicious take on the Long Island iced tea called a Long Island iced coffee. You could almost call it a Long Island iced coffee sour because it's got that foamy texture, acidity from the lemon juice, sweetness from the Coca-Cola syrup, but there's just so much complexity from all these ingredients. And another thing about this drink, which I really like, is you could easily batch this up, put all your spirits together in equal parts because it's 10 ml of each in this recipe. Just add 60 ml of this pre-batch into your drink, top it up with your lemon, your Coca-Cola and your coffee, shake it up, and you've cut your prep time from adding 9 ingredients down to 4. Obviously that's gonna save a lot of time, but you're gonna get loads of complexity from those amazing ingredients. So I always say this, but this one I strongly recommend you try. There's nothing here that's difficult to get hold of. I know it's a lot of ingredients, but I think it's really delicious. And you can add decaf, you can add different coffees, experiment with these things. You don't have to have caffeine in there. And it's not quite as boozy or kind of unrefined as Long Island iced tea. So enjoy this version of the Long Island iced coffee. If you've enjoyed this kind of thing and you want to see more, you can subscribe by clicking here, and I'll put more videos for you to watch here, including the Long Island iced tea here, and my 50 video essential cocktails course, completely free for you to watch. So see you in the next video, and cheers.